quietly and follow along. At any point, click the pause button to catch up or take a break. Hi, today we're going to be making an art garden, which is an interactive piece where you, the artist, can pull your vegetables actually out of the ground that you create, which is really cool. We're going to start by creating the vegetables that are going to be in the ground in our art piece. I'm going to start with a basic carrot, and here's how you can draw a carrot. I like to start with a big upside down U, but it's almost like a full circle. Leave some space for the green top of your carrot. Now, on the left side of my carrot, I'm going to go a little bit more on the outside than where I ended. I'm going to make another curve, just like so. And I'm going to repeat that same process, maybe make it a little squiggly down into a point. Same on the other side, except I'm going to make this one a little longer and then repeat it down and make a point to my carrot. Let's do the greenery. I like to just make loose leaves just by dragging my pencil, just like so. It kind of helps if you go down and then up. We're gonna do that on the other side. I'm gonna make this one go a little taller, and I'm gonna make my carrot just a little more droopier because it's ready to be plucked from the ground. And then don't forget to add some texture using basic lines on your carrot. This is just going from left to right. I'm kind of dragging some, putting them in the middle, like that. You can add texture to your greenery of the carrot just by adding some basic lines. Just like so, how you'd find on a regular leaf. That's how you draw a carrot. You're gonna wanna color that, and then we can move on to the next food, which I'm gonna be showing you how to draw a radish. And a radish is kind of like a carrot where we start out going up. It looks almost like a heart because it has a pointed top and an indent on the bottom. So like the carrot, leave some space for your greenery towards the top. There's the basic radish shape. For the greenery, I just start by drawing some lines coming out and down. This is gonna be like a little stems of leaves, and instead of the carrot being, just lines, we're gonna make these a little thicker to add variety to our artwork. And I'm gonna add them going in different directions. I'm gonna do 3, that's a good goal. Just like so. Now our leaves are gonna come up a little higher, and again, just kind of a wavy line going around those things and connecting where we started before. Next leaf, and the last leaf. Kind of a wavy line coming around. You can add little points to it too. It makes it look a little bit more like leaves. That's how we draw our basic radish. Now this last one, this can be whatever you want too, but for fun to kind of trick my viewer, I'm going to make it just a weed. Weeds happen in, vegetable gardens. It's pretty common. So I'm just gonna make my weed building off of the radish, kind of the same concept. I really want to trick somebody to think it's maybe another radish or something. I'm gonna have my leaves kind of come off of it. And then my weed, to make it really look like a weed, I'm just gonna add a lot of scribbly lines because nobody really likes it. And you can even add some roots coming off of it to really show that it's nothing but roots. All right, that's my weed. These will look really cool once we're colored. So next what you're gonna do is we're gonna prepare our actual ground for our vegetables to go in. While our ground is drying, we can go and color our vegetables. It's kind of like saving time all in one. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna need to cut out all your vegetables. I like to leave a little bit of white space between where I ended. That way it just kind of makes it noticeable that it stands out from the ground. Okay, so I'm gonna put my scraps in the recycling, and here are my vegetables and my weed. So for your ground, here's what you're gonna need. Just 2 pieces of paper. It can be white plain paper that you can color on. You're gonna need one that's a little bit bigger than this one. It just kind of helps show that when we glue it together, it's kind of like a sandwich. Okay, so now we need to decide, using our brown piece of paper, your smaller paper, we're gonna place our vegetables. What we are worried about is really how far the vegetables are gonna be in the ground. It doesn't really matter how close. You don't want them too close together. You can kind of spread them out. That's fine. Then you're gonna get a pencil and you're gonna mark the exact center of the vegetable. So the bottom tip of the vegetable. You're gonna do that for each one after you figure out where you wanna place them. So here's the bottom of my corn, or my carrot, sorry. Making a nice straight line, and with my weed at the bottom. Next, what you're gonna do is, you're going to, go back to the radish. Decide how deep you want your radish into the ground. I want my radish to be this far into the ground, so only this little top part is showing. I'm gonna put a pencil mark like that to show how deep I want it. Let's go to the carrot. Same concept. I want my carrot, I'm gonna put my line right over here again, this deep. So a little bit is showing. That way we can kind of guess what it is. And to the weed. I don't want much of my weed showing because I don't want to give it away that it's a weed. So I'm gonna put my line all the way up there. Next, what we're gonna do is remove all of your vegetables. You can put them aside. Here on your paper, we have lines going up and down and left to right where each of our vegetables were. Those are key indicators. I'm gonna use the radish as an example of what we're gonna do first. You're gonna turn your paper. So now that line is going left to right and the other line is going up and down. Fold your paper in half. And you can see right where the mark is. You're going to fold it so the crease is exactly on that mark or pretty close to it. Crease your paper. Then I'm going to flip and I'm going to find the mark for my radish. Right here. I am then going to turn my paper on the crease and place my scissors. I'm going to cut, and you can cut kind of jaggedy if you want, all the way to my mark. That way when I unfold it, it creates kind of a little pocket, you could say, for my radish to sit in. And I'll demonstrate how this is gonna work. So it should be wide enough just for your radish to squeeze in as far as you wanted. Just like that. Pretty cool. Let's do the next one. I'm gonna go to the carrot. Remember, we placed the carrot just like this. So we made a mark by the bottom tip in the center. And we made a mark to show how deep we want it. Next step is to turn our paper and fold till we see the mark. And here was my mark right there. So I'm going to then crease the paper and turn it over so I can see all my marks. Place my scissors on the crease and cut kind of jaggedy, like round, all the way, even go a little past that mark. Open it up. Make it like a little pocket, like just to make sure it's cut nice and easy. And you can do a tester by putting your carrot right in there. It'll fit nice and snug. We even show how the radish is gonna fit too. Looking really good. All right, one left, and that is Mr. Weed. So over here, just to show it again, we made a mark at the bottom of our weed and at the side to show how deep it's going to be in the ground. Turn my paper and I'm going to fold. So you can see that crease lands right on that first mark. And you'll notice the crease goes the same way as the mark. That's how you know you're doing it right. I'm gonna keep my paper folded. And I'm gonna place my scissors along the crease and cut through that mark. Here we go, and my weed will fit right in there. Whoop, I gotta plant it. Can be a little tricky. Once you get the paper kind of folded how you want it, it'll fit nice and easy. There we go. Everything fits perfectly. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna go over those lines where we cut with a Sharpie marker. That way you can see really clearly where we cut our paper and our vegetables fit into the ground. I'm gonna go over that just a few times to really make sure it's nice and thick. That way later when we do more design, those lines will stand out. There we go. And this last one is right down here. Okay. Next, what you're gonna do is take all your vegetables and put them back into the paper. We're going to now glue this on, but we have to do it carefully so we don't glue our vegetables into the pocket. When we put our vegetables in the pocket, it really helps us see where not to glue, especially when we flip over our work. We are not going to be applying glue wherever there's a vegetable, obviously, and you're gonna just do it around the outside edge. You might have to be careful of your radish, we'll just slide it up a little bit. And you're gonna apply glue across the top of each vegetable pocket. That is to make sure that that part of the pocket stays down and the other one will lift, and it makes it nice and easy for you. I'm gonna bring back my green paper so it's nice and easy to just flip it over and turn it on. I'm using Elmer's glue that's liquid with a paintbrush just to make things a little easier. A glue stick will work just as fine or just as well. Or you can just use the glue bottle. So let's start by going around all the edges of your paper. Remember, you don't want to really get any paint on your vegetables. Make it a little tricky to pull them in and out then. Here's the edge. Here's the edge. Make sure you get those corners really well. And any area that you're going to be pulling those vegetables out, such as the top of each pocket. Just going to go across here. There's my weed one. Whoop, I got a little bit on my radish, that's okay. And my carrot. We'll remove the vegetables. It's just a good way to kind of show where not to apply glue. I'm going to then flip over my paper and center it on my back page. I'm gonna pull out my vegetables so they don't get all full of glue. There we go, and I'm using my hands just to kind of spread it. A good knuckle rub, which is just using the top of our knuckles, applies a good amount of pressure, just kind of naturally, and I'm doing small circular motions to make sure my paper lies flat. And then each vegetable you'll find has like its own pocket. Like, for example, the weed is smaller than my radish, so I know the weed goes there. There you go, you just might need to work that pocket a little bit. Sometimes the glue might splatter out into that other space, so I'm just gonna make sure it still fits good. And my radish. Fits in there nice and evenly. Now what you can do is you can use markers and colored pencils or crayons or watercolor, and I'm gonna be adding a little more to the ground. I'm gonna be making nice horizontal lines, and I'm gonna pull out the radish so you can see that. You can even add little circles to show the dirt. Do it over here. This just really shows how the plant or the vegetable, is really in the ground, or in this case the weed. Carrot might have a little more of a hump, and I'm just doing, again, really loose lines to give the ground some texture. And remember, our vegetables usually come in rows, so we want to add some rows to our picture going across our page. Put this back in. Think about other fun things that are in the ground when we have a garden. You can add ants. I do an ant. I'm gonna make a nice big one. 3 circles, 2 antennas, and 3 legs. And another ant over here. 2 antennas and 3 legs on the center dot. Pretty easy. You can add worms. Ooh, maybe there's a worm coming out of the ground. Worm. I'm just gonna kind of add some curved lines to that worm. And I'll be able to add more color later, but you can add all different interactive bugs. That's a very important part of a garden. Maybe you want to add butterflies, or I'm going to add some water to make it look like we're actually getting rained on, or someone is watering their vegetable garden. Pretty cool. Now, once you have all these things ready for your picture, feel free to add color. Color each of your vegetables or the ugly weed, you know, anything you add to the picture. It helps to go over some of your lines. It doesn't have to be really, you know, perfect, but trace over with a brown marker or black to really show the light and dark values of the dirt. Thank you for watching.